How often do people come up to you and say, oh, that's what you look like?
They will be like, either, oh, you're so tall, or you're not as tall as I thought you would be. Can't please anybody. Although, one of the first cons I did, there was one person that came to my table and was like, oh, you're the big booby lady. And I was like, yes, I am. Thank you.
What makes you a nerd? What's your fandom? What's your nerddom?
Well, I'm going to New Zealand. What do you think it is? That's my big thing.
Have you laid out all the locations, like on the set locations and things like? And that's where.
That's where he kicked the helmet and broke his toe. Did you know? I saw there's so many funny memes about that bit where this is not funny anymore now that I'm having to explain a meme, but yeah, just the fact that everybody the second we get to that scene is like, did you know that? And I can't control it. I have to say it every time. So there you go.
So while I was in the back going over my apparently incorrect pronunciations.
Wait, you rehearsed it incorrectly? I love that for you.
I couldn't help but hear you guys come down the hall, and there was some talk about there was some dinosaur talk.
Yeah.
As one does.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, what are your favorite dinosaurs?
Okay, so to be fair, I feel like, so I've come to this realization that when you ask somebody what their favorite dinosaur is, you learn a lot about them. So that's kind of like, I've started making this like one of my like first few questions to ask somebody because you learn so much so quickly. So how about I ask you first, what's your favorite dinosaur?
My favorite dinosaur is an ankylosaurus.
I think you just stumped us.
So it's like a little. It's like I don't want to say little. I mean, he's like a hard-shelled armor with like a long tail.
Yes.
Because
Cursor to an armadillo?
very.
Yeah.
It could be very similar. So I broke my ankle. So I went at Build-A-Dino, just like Build-A-Bear, but Build-A-Dino, they had an ankylosaurus.
What?
So I got a stuffed ankylosaurus, and they had cast.
Ankylosaurus.
Yeah.
So they had like
Because your ankle was sore.
so they had like little cast. So I put a little cast on his leg, and so that's.
I feel like that says so much about you. Right?
Thank you.
So you're right. I think it does say a lot about people. Yeah.
So we found out that, so I used to be a brontosaurus lover.
Okay.
And then I feel like life happened. And I became a triceratops. So yeah. So I feel like triceratops still like a plant eater, but like now is like kind of protective, and like has a little angst, So I kind of feel like that's like a little bit of, that's like me. But then I found out that Maggie.
Well, my answer was I am a long neck. But I like Triceratops. My reason is because I like that they're a little prickly. Like they've got the horns, stay away. They seem nice, but also like can fuck you up. Can I say that?
Exactly.
You just did.
Great. I just did.
Just did.
Anyway, but I think also I do go into raptor mode
Yeah.
more often than
That's
I should,
fair.
maybe.
That's fair.
So it's really fun.
Yeah.
So I enjoy that.
Yeah.
The duality of man.
I was going to say, yeah. But there's so much. Like I found
What makes human beings interesting, their complexities and their, dissonance.
Yeah, and love of dinosaurs.
And love of dinosaurs. We can analyze all of our characters from now on. Like,
So
what
much.
dinosaur is this character?
So straight up, I think that's the question to ask. What dinosaur is this character? So yeah.
That is a great question.
Shoot, did we just...
Lady D is a T-Rex. That's for dang sure.
100% T-Rex. Claire is... Oh, shoot. She's a Triceratops, I think.
Right, like
I think she's a straight up Triceratops. Sorry, random. Do we agree Triceratops, or is there another one we think she could be? I feel like she's a Triceratops.
I don't
know if she's a pterodactyl.
I mean, very protective, very having to, a survivalist, almost maybe a Stegosaurus with the
Stegosaurus potentially,
with the armor plates on the back.
Stegosaurus. She is a bit of a loner. So I wonder, was there a dinosaur that was a loner as well? Now we're going to a new era. That she definitely is a saber-toothed tiger, though.
Classical depictions of Triceratops are always like family-oriented. She goes to Raccoon City to find her brother. She's very much about her family and her loved ones.
Yeah.
She's very strong on the outside. She's got that front shell along with all the horns. She can still kick ass and take names later.
I think she's still a Triceratops, damn it. Yeah. You see what I mean?
That was unbelievable. That was so good.
Welcome to our resident dinosaur Q&A. Thank you very much.
We've tapped in. This is our new acting philosophy, the dino method.
This is what I'm saying.
Character breakdowns. Yeah.
I guess we maybe should talk about why we're here. And it's, maybe some people would like to.
Can we talk about your shoes first?
We can't, yeah.
Yeah, we're just checking those out.
Haunted Mansion shoes. I felt, got to keep in the spirit of the Halloween time. Mm-hmm. Speaking of
and the love of ankles.
And the love, yes, protecting my ankles. Speaking of Halloween, again, no need to get into, video games and stuff. Do you have favorite movies, favorite traditions? What are your Halloweens like?
Sweet. Okay. I'm gonna go. So I throw a goddess party with my closest girlfriends, and so it started. The very first one was witch themed, and so we did kind of like the 30s, the 20s, and so we were like witches from that era, and so that was kind of fun. And we do all our food, like we do like a potluck, and we each make something related to that. One of the years we did like a Day of the Dead, and it always happens around Halloween time. I think we did one that was like, I don't know why, but it ended up being like Spanish goddesses, and then everything was Mediterranean. I think we're going off book now, but
so what's this year's theme?
That's a great question. I
Dinosaurs.
don't remember.
Which dinosaurs?
Oh my gosh. If we all had to try and figure out how to dress up as dinosaurs, that's going to be challenging. at the dinner table.
At the table, yeah.
Like with tiny hands. I'm T-Rex. Like that would be so awkward. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen for this one because I've had so many conventions this month. So one of the other girls I think is taking it on. So I should probably pay attention to what's going on there. But yeah, so I'll do that and then hit up everything. I'll also go around to Los Angeles is so rich with like Halloween culture. So there's a lot of houses that go all out. So my best friend this year planned out a whole map for houses for us to hit. So one of the nights we snuck in randomly on I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday this week. I think it was Tuesday we went. We just spent hours hopping around all these ridiculously amazing homes. And one of them we went to, and as you walk up, this is dedication. This is why I say LA goes to another level. But there's one that every year, do you know about all this, by the way? If not, I'm going to be
No, I'm
about
learning.
all of this.
That's why I let you go
That's
first.
Where you're There's one that every year they do stuff for Halloween and for Christmas, but they have a huge, massive theme. You can look them up. I'll send all this stuff. But there was another one that I went to, and the second you walk in through the area, Michael Myers walks out the door, human straight up. He's there hanging out. He's from 7 to 10 p.m. I hang out. My Ring doorbell tells me there's a human, and I walk out my door with a knife and the mask. And I thought that was just so lovely. So, yeah, and then I watch scary movies and do all the things. But anyways, those are kind of the ones that stick around. Right. And then the corn mazes. Okay, I'm not going to lie. My boyfriend thinks we're ridiculous. Me and my best friend, he's very intimidated by the fact that when we take traditions to another level. So there's a lot of things I actually do for Halloween.
I was like, yeah.
Follow
What
that.
don't you do? My God.
Do everything.
All day, you have something planned every day of the month leading up to.
No joke. If I wasn't leaving every weekend this month, I would be like. And my
You have
bestie
a
is.
calendar.
So yeah, she does. But she
I
left
know.
me for this Halloween this last week. So she left me. So my boyfriend stuck with me and he's like, honey, I will do like 1 or 2 things. I'm like, no, we've got the weekend at night after work, and then we have the weekend to do things. Can we count it as a date? He's like, I guess. So yeah. Anyways, that is all. Maggie?
My birthday is the day before Halloween, so I usually do birthday stuff, and then I get dragged along to things, and I figure out a costume based on what I have in my closet in 2 seconds, and then I go from there. And I eat lots of things, and that's my plan. I carve a pumpkin. That's something I do enjoy doing. That's my tradition.
Now, being in LA, do you get out to Universal and go to Halloween Horror Nights?
I haven't been.
I haven't been.
I have never been to Universal.
I like it, but I'll be honest, I don't like waiting. So,
Waiting.
so I won't. I do so much other stuff and like so many cool farms that you can go out to that I just rather go there and go like more low key. And like sometimes they're freakier and they've got like cooler, more intense things. And I'm not bashing on it, but for me, I'd rather go that route. So yeah.
What about movies? Do you have any particular movies that you like to watch during this time, whether they're Halloween related or just scary?
Maggie. Don't look at me. You get to go first this time.
I really like Hocus Pocus. And a bunch of them are here, so definitely go see their tables. They're very nice. So that's definitely one that I like, also because Bette Midler is
Amazing.
delightfully crazy.
Eva, amazing.
And yeah, so I love that one. It makes me chuckle. I like the silly ones. I definitely skew more campy silly than horror specifically. I don't love being scared. So that's me. I go for the derpy, silly movies. I'm boring. We should just ask Stephanie questions this whole time. That's what I'm realizing. That's what I'm learning this panel is that I do nothing and Stephanie does everything.
Maggie, do you want to be a part of it?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
You mind?
I'm going to just take you with me now.
This is why I say when we travel together, Stephanie's like, and I'm like,
I'm a scaredy cat, believe it or not. Like, I'm the first one to go jump into like a real cemetery and go walk through like an abandoned something, but to watch the movie, I have such a hard time because my imagination's strong enough. So like, if you now give me something and now my imagination runs, I'm in trouble. So I won't, like, I'll be honest, I know we're at a horror convention, but I can only watch like 2, maybe 3 horror films a year. Like, that's about as far as I can go. Because they'll haunt me for months at a time. So, like I remember I watched Lights Out. Do you guys remember Lights Out? Such a simple concept, but it destroyed me. And had I been thinking about it right now, I'd be terrified because I see darkness right over there. So like, anyways.
You can hear people, but you can't see them.
Can't see, yeah, you know?
You have no clue. Like, we can't see anything up here. Like, the front row is basically it.
Yeah, it's hard. Like we can see like right over here, but like anyone who's back there in the dark, just remember who hangs out in the dark and lights out. Yeah, you feel it like right on the back of your leg right now, right on your ankle perhaps.
Too soon. Hashtag too soon. Now, Maggie, you mentioned seeing other guests at conventions that you go to, like this one, we have a bunch of the Hocus Pocus cast. Has there been a moment where, especially at a convention, where you saw another guest and you absolutely fanboyed?
Sean Astin.
That's a great one.
I'm on brand. We're on theme here. And then he followed me on Twitter. I don't want to brag, but like, yeah, he was so nice.
Did you
Delightful.
When you did you talk to? Did you were you?
No, I was
were you,
so cool.
you were so.
I was so cool, you guys. I didn't even say anything about you know what. I was just like, yeah, we had a cute little moment in a hallway where we like were trying to get past each other, and then we were like cracking jokes and doing bits, and then I peaced out. And I left it on that. And then he followed me on Twitter. And I was like, oh my God, we're best friends. That's how social media works. So that was the one for me. Everyone I've met at cons, though, has been really nice. Don't die.
Copy, good.
Stop it. Right now. I'm speaking. Don't interrupt me with your joking. So that's that. That's that. And now we're all just gonna watch you recover.
Yes,
I'm so sorry. I made it so awkward for you. Now it was the ankle. Now it's the choking. Chokosaurus. So you're going to be like, can we get them gone? I never want to see them again. They've ruined everything. Stephanie, you go. Everyone stop choking. Is it me?
No, I was just laughing really hard. And then I was just thinking about how you're like, I never want to do an interview again.
These people.
I'm sorry. Anyways. I'm really bad with names, so I will like meet people and hang out with them like last night at dinner.
No, they had to tell me before. It's only because I shared a car with them that I was like, who are you? And then she had to do the same for me too. So we were like, oh, okay, cool.
Okay, I had no idea I was hanging out with all like the Hocus Pocus crew last night. Like we had dinner and I was like, they're so cool. They look familiar. I don't remember. And I'm like hanging out the entire time. That's me. So I will meet people. I'll hang out with them. I'll have drinks. We'll have dinner, all the things. And then I'll be like, oh, like the next day though.
I think that's good because then you're not being like, oh, and then you're not too shy to say something, or you don't say too much where you end up looking like a fool.
I'm not shy.
Or choking on stage.
Yeah, exactly. Maggie, who did I talk to about fart apps? And I knew who this was.
Ron Perlman.
I have no shame. So even if I know who you are and I recognize, I'm still going to say the things. But I will say if I'm...
We compared the apps that you can download on phones to see which was the best farty app. And then we
Straight
tried
up.
to integrate it into a panel. Next time, actually, if we could go off stage and we'll come back
If
on
we
and
could
try
have
to
an
do the
intro with
bit.
fart apps, please. We would
tried
each
to
like a
plant the
designated fart
phone
sound.
to have a fart go off in the middle of the panel, but it didn't go well. It was you. It was poor Stephanie that got saddled with the embarrassment because you did the fart sound, and then you were like, oops, excuse me, and nobody laughed.
Okay.
And it was just silent, and we were like, oh no.
Hey, people came up afterwards and were like, by the way, that was hilarious.
Why didn't you laugh?
Exactly. It made me feel uncomfortable.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Anyways, I am not shy by any means. I do think it's like such a wonderful time, and honestly, like they're memories. So I'm not afraid. I will say though, if I ever run into them, massive crush, would be from Supernatural, like Jensen Ackles.
Okay.
If I run into him, the story will probably be very different. I probably won't talk to him about fart apps. I'm like,
How many fart apps do you
joke.
have?
I don't have any, but on that particular show, I just was remembering when I had them, and so I downloaded a few, and then we became a whole skit, and then Ron Perlman was next to me, and I was like, oh, hi. I'm like, I'm Stephanie. He's like, I'm Ron. And I was like, you didn't hear everything we just talked about. And he's like, how could I not? And then I was like, well, then let's talk. And that was it. So, yeah. And I'm not joking because Maggie was there and she saw the whole thing happen.
Can confirm.
So I know you. If anybody out there have questions, so there's a microphone right here. So please go ahead and line up. Before you ask your question, no, go ahead and start lining up. So before you ask your question, I want you to give your name and favorite dinosaur.
Beautiful. I love this.
Name and favorite dinosaur, and then you can ask your question.
Will, Triceratops, of course.
Oh, nice.
Since primarily you're known for your voice acting work, how often do people come up to you and say, oh, that's what you look like? And just a side note, Stephanie, on your girls' night party, you should totally wear one of those inflatable T-Rex costumes.
Oh my God. Yeah. I don't think there's going to be any room at the table. How do we eat? Anyway, sorry. Do people say anything to you, Maggie?
They will be like, either, oh, you're so tall, or you're not as tall as I thought you would be. Can't please anybody. But I don't know. I think maybe because I think my character skyrocketed, and then as a result, people were interested in who I was after the fact, after the game came out. So I think everyone who comes to my table generally knows who I am. Although, one of the first cons I did, there was one person that came to my table and was like, oh, you're the big booby lady. And I was like, yes, I am. Thank you.
Is that how you signed the 8x10?
Big booby lady.
So many doodles on it, you can just sneak it in.
Well, I can pronounce that. That's how you get
Booby
next time.
lady. I think that I always get like shy about it, but I think people come up to me. This feels even weird saying out loud, but like those be like, "You're really pretty. Why aren't you in front of the camera?" And I'm always like, is this a good compliment? I don't know how to feel right now. They'll be like, why don't they take your likeness? As they'll always be like, why don't they make her look like you? You look like her. And I'm like, well, like there's like an iconic look. So I always get like that kind of like awkward moment where I don't know how to react. I'm just like, thanks. So I get that, I would say. Yeah. It's a compliment, but it feels weird.
Yeah, it's a
It
compliment.
still feels weird. So, yeah.
Kind of like a backhanded. Is that a backhanded compliment?
I don't know what it is. I think it's like, I'll get like also like random people would be like, I've never played the game, but I waited in line because you were beautiful and now I will. And I'm like, well, thank you.
I never get that.
Take that to Capcom and be like, hey, I'm moving games here.
I'm moving games and it's just because of apparently this. So it feels weird though, I'm not going to lie. That's all I got though.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Hello, what's your name and what's your favorite dinosaur?
My name is Adam, and my favorite dinosaur is the Stegosaurus.
Oh, hello.
Yes.
Hello, Stegosaurus.
Have a Stegosaurus meetup after this.
My question is to both of you. Both of you play very intense characters, and I was wondering, to deliver those very emotional performances, how do you get your mind to tap into it and deliver it?
I'll go first. I like to I like to use body work. So I'm a very physical actor. Even if I'm in just a recording booth doing stuff, you will always see me moving around, and then the recording engineer will have to be like, Maggie, can you stay on mic? And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm doing all these things. So I will use my body and I'll get into it. If something is happening, if I'm attacking something, I'm doing all the things. I'm stabbing, I'm getting my arm ripped off and all of that stuff. So I do try to physicalize it so that it feels real and lived in my body, and that's a great way for me to tap in. I think so often we forget that our bodies are also conductive in receiving information and intuiting and picking up things that perhaps our brains are not cognizantly picking up on. So if I can allow my body to receive and intake information, then I kind of get out of my own way, and it's easier for me to drop in emotionally as well. If I could just get out of here and get into here and get into here, that's great. So I love warming up my body and getting into it.
That is so fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, straight up, Maggie and I were having these deep conversations by the river yesterday. We were like,
On the rocks by the river.
where yeah.
Talking about
Yeah,
body work.
straight up. But it really does. Like, I don't even realize that, but that's so much of what I do is like body work. Because like even when I think about the different types of characters that I play, like, like I've done motion capture for Tomb Raider for some of the stuff for Lara, but that's, even though she's another like badass female, she's still so different from Claire. So like what I will have like as a distinguishing factor sometimes for my physicality is that, and it sounded weird, but I would always say, hey, before we put my head cam on, I need to make sure there's enough room for a high ponytail, right? And I wasn't allowed to have like my hair out, but I'd have like a little like bounce to whatever little bun or whatever it is, because there's that physicality that I could hold on to that particular character. And I just always thought of like, Claire's got a little bit of like a bounce to her step in a way, because she is surviving. So she's kind of like reactionary. So even in the way she does, she's like, oh, not that way, versus like if it was like a Lara Croft, she's like very like, I know exactly where I'm going, and that's very different. It's very planned out and more methodical. And so physicality makes a massive deal and all that. I have somebody in here that's taken a workshop class with me. And I'm sure you can vouch that physicality is something I always bring up. But that's one thing that I think is super important, and just trying to keep yourself in that space. Because if you're physically feeling it, you're definitely always there, And so, but yeah, I would say that. And then just... which both of us are nerds. We also enjoy our scene study and breaking down our scripts quite well. But yeah, physicality is a huge deal. And that works also just like for life purposes too. Like if you're ever like psyched out and you're about to go to like an intense interview or something like that, legitimately just changing your posture in a certain way will make your brain say, I'm confident right now. And then that's it. And it's little tweaks. So, yeah.
Thank you both so very much for answering my question.
Oh, thank you.
You.
I'll go after the Q&A.
We'll see you.
Hello. What's your name and what's your favorite dinosaur?
Hi, I'm Bear, and I'm a Stegosaurus babe.
Ooh, another Stegosaurus. Nice.
So many of you.
I had that all ready, and I was like, I was gonna be the first one. And
So meet up when? Are we already scheduling?
Yeah.
yes,
Wait, so what is like a group of Stegosauruses called?
Stegosi.
There we go.
scary.
Meet with your fellow Stegosi.
Science.
So my question is for Maggie. So when you accepted the role of Lady D, and when you were figuring out your character and all that, do you have any idea what kind of impact that
No.
she would make? Okay.
No. No. How? That's it. That's it. No. Of course not. Let's all keep in mind that I had no idea what I was even auditioning for when I was auditioning for it. It's very common with video games to have everything under NDA. So game name, character info, the sides that I auditioned with, all of that was fake. None of it was accurate to the game. So it wasn't until I showed up on day one that I was like, this feels like a really big deal. Feels like there's something really major happening here in the room and in the energy, and I feel like I should figure out what the heck this is. So all of that to say is that I had no preconceptions of what the outcome of this experience could be, because I had no idea what I was getting into to begin with. I knew that because it was Resident Evil, and it's such a major franchise, that the game as a whole would be a big deal. But I never expected my character within that game to become a big deal. And certainly because I knew that she was the first boss. I knew she wasn't the main villain. So I was like, oh yeah, the game will be great. And I'll be in it. And that will be enough. And that was the only objective that I had, was just do your job and do it well. Also because it was my first time working on a video game, doing performance capture. I was not even able to think about what could potentially happen after the fact, because every bit of my attention was focused on learning everything that I needed to learn on the fly and do it really well and perform and do this character to the best of my ability, even when I'm operating within a set of circumstances that is brand new to me. So all of my concentration, even in my down moments, I was watching what everyone else was doing in the volume and listening to the language and asking questions and figuring it out. So all of my focus and my attention was on how can I do my best work and understand this new medium so that I can use my craft and allow it to come through to the best of my ability. So that's all I was thinking about. And I think to a certain degree, you can't think about what could happen afterwards. That would ultimately not get you what you want. I think part of the reason why she was so successful is because our intention the whole time through was just, how can we make a really cool character? How can we make this character really good? And as a result, we found something that really resonated with audiences, despite how little she was actually in the game, which I think is quite a victory. How cool is it that we were able to find a character and create a character that is able to have such a massive impact for having such a small piece of the game.
So cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we are running up on time. We want to try to get through as many as
shit.
possible.
There's a
So
huge line.
We'll
Okay.
answer
you guys are doing
Short,
great so
fast.
far. So again, I just want to preface, just keep one question apiece. I know you guys have been doing great so far. Hello, what's your name and what's your favorite dinosaur?
Hi, my name's Nicole, and my favorite is a Velociraptor.
Ooh, we've learned a lot.
The question is for both of you. Have y'all been a Resident Evil, or would you consider yourself a Resident Evil fan now that you have been in the franchise working for Capcom?
Always. Yes, of course. We have our little Resident Evil family, which is really lovely. And I will say, just like props to Stephanie and also Nick Apostolidis, when the game first came out and I was totally overwhelmed, they both messaged me and were like, welcome, congrats. And I just thought that was so nice and speaks to the quality of people that work in the game, both in front and behind the cameras. So yeah, definitely.
1,000%. I stream as well, so if you're ever on Twitch, I'm Because I Claire. If that says anything to you, whether or not I'm a fan of it too. Oh, you do? Perfect. Okay. Well, I'm back on October 26th. And I'm going to have a new setup. So I'm finally going to be able to take out all the things and collectibles that I have that are going to be all over there. That's going to be Resident Evil-esque out. So 100% yes.
Awesome. Thank you for bringing both the characters alive. I
Thank
really
you.
enjoy it.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Nicole. Thanks, Lady D.
Hello, what's your name and what's your favorite dinosaur?
I'm Bianca. My favorite dinosaur is a pterodactyl.
Ooh.
They fly.
You think outside the box.
Yeah.
You're quirky too.
Yeah.
And you probably like to mess with people. Is that true?
Yeah, I would say so. So,
I know everything about you now.
well, there we go. So my question is for both of you, and just do you guys have any advice or tips for aspiring voice actors in video games or in any kind of medium, especially for ones that are just starting out?
Yes.
Do tell.
Way to keep
Yes.
us on time. All right.
Well, you said it in your sentence, voice actors. It's always about acting. That is the root of everything that we do. And we don't consider ourselves just voiceover artists. We consider ourselves actors. And then I have all the tools in my toolbox then to adapt to whatever medium I happen to be operating in that moment. So invest in your training. Also, I think Stephanie will be behind me when I say this because we've had conversations around it. Invest in your financial freedom. Develop financial freedom for yourself. That is the greatest privilege and gift that you can give yourself. All of this work that you do as an actor, you have to fund your own career development. That is expensive. Don't get yourself into debt. Don't get into a poverty cycle. I would much rather, the advice that I could give you, I think, because there's so many misconceptions, the myth is that if you are an actor, you have to have a job that is flexible 100% of the time. That oftentimes looks like restaurant jobs. I had like 5 different catering jobs. I waitressed, I dog walked, I did all of these things. But as a result, because they pay you a minimum wage, then I was having to work more jobs in order to sustain myself. And then I'm working 5 to 7 different jobs as opposed to just one. I'm balancing all of those schedules. I'm drained at the end of the day. And then ultimately it's not flexible. Because if I have an audition comes up and I need to reschedule something, it impacts 5 different jobs as opposed to just one. So I would much rather have kept my office job and had a steady paycheck and had a savings than to have just dispersed my energy so much and invested in that. And everything's self-tape and everything's virtual, so you can do both. I know many actors who have full-time jobs and still do all of this stuff. So invest in your financial freedom. Find a way to make that work. It doesn't have to be don't get an office job, but you can find whatever makes it work for you. And also, you're an entrepreneur. That's what actors are. You're an entrepreneur.
You're an entrepreneur.
You're an entrepreneur, so you can always diversify your portfolio. It's not a detriment if you are developing other things in your life that are exciting. That's what it is.
Thank you.
I say all of that, and I was literally going to just run right with that part. Invest in what makes you happy, too, because when you are playing, and then you are creative. So make sure that you leave yourself room to play. so that you can be creative and have that source and that well to be able to show up in that way. So, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're going to get real answers from us, by the way, guys. We will not
Really good
sugarcoat
at
for
brevity.
you. So, yeah.
Hello.
Hello, my name is Aaron, and my favorite dinosaur is Tyrannosaurus Rex because I see myself as a leader. Because my Morphin Power Rangers, the Red Ranger Zord, was a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yes.
So my question for both of you is, what does it honestly feel like being part of a major franchise like Resident Evil?
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And I honestly, like, when I think back, like, Resident Evil's always been a massive franchise. But I feel like when Resident Evil 2 came out, it kind of like put it right back on the map, like, hard. And so, like, to like be able to do that, I think has been incredible. And to be able to see it continue to flourish with amazing games and like even more beautiful full characters is wonderful. So, sorry, what were you saying?
I was gonna say original or remake of Resident Evil 2.
For
What drew like Resident Evil on the map? Because they're both drew.
both are oh no, of course. Well, RE2 original first put horror on the map, I would say, for games, in my opinion. But then I'm saying Resident Evil's franchise to come back so strong again was because of the reboot that we didn't even know was going to be so strong and so well received. We just made it because we're like, this is great. We're all fans and we really love it. So let's just make it whatever we would have wanted to see. And that's it, you know?
Which is also, again, like, you just got to make the best work that you can make, and then the rest will fall into place. You don't have control over outcomes. You only have control over your work. So invest in controlling that rather than thinking about what could be. To answer your question, what was your question?
I guess how's
What
it
does
feel
it
to be
feel
in the
like?
Resident Evil franchise?
Awesome, cool, yes. Also awesome is my answer. No, it feels really great. It's not an exaggeration to say that being a part of Resident Evil Village changed my life in every way. My life is completely different than it was before. So it's been a kind of surreal experience to witness and participate in. And yeah, it's been great.
Awesome. Well, thank you and welcome to Richmond.
Thank you.
Thank you, T-Rex.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yikes.
So we're lightning rounds. What's your name and what's your favorite dinosaur?
My name is Kira, and I honestly Velociraptor probably. I was
Okay.
and so
Predator.
this is for you, Maggie. This is gonna be a really dumb question, but
I like dumb.
Are you are you aware of your biggest fan, Mark Fishbach, aka Markiplier?
I've never heard the full name. I was like, Mark who? But Markiplier, absolutely. Yes, of course I'm aware. It's about power. How come nobody told me? Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Not dumb. In the end.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Gina, and I apologize because I don't have a question for Maggie. I haven't gotten that far in the series, but Resident Evil 2 is probably my favorite game. Thank you. I really loved Claire. She's one of my favorite characters alongside William Birkin, and of course she's very close to his character with the fights and stuff. But
I noticed you are William, correct? Okay, yeah.
the only person who's like realized, and so that means so much to
I
me.
love it. Well, you even got like where the eye, like where all it occurred. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I spent like 5 hours on this last night.
You look fantastic.
Thank you. And some of the voice acting that you've done, especially like when the dogs are after Claire, and then like, you know, when there's a big behemoth coming after you, it's just there's so much passion in it. And I just wanted to ask, how do you get in that mindset of just, you know, there's this unstoppable horror in front of you, but you have to defeat it anyway. And it's just there's just so much emotion in her voice, and I just wanted to know, how do you get that?
So, remember how I said invest in your life, right? So every single thing that's ever happened to me, whether it be good or bad, I see it as a part of who I am now and a part of my resiliency, right? And so one of the things that I was able to connect with Claire is that she is hyper resilient. That is literally who she is that even though she goes through things, she finds a way and she finds the light. So I think she just will push because there is no other way. That's it. So I think that for me, I just try to think of like, you know, what is her drive? She's a bit of a loner. So her desire is always to be with someone or help someone, or there's like this like there's and if we're talking in a sad way, there's a depth and a sadness within her that's why you always hear that. You always hear that drive and that passion and all that stuff. And so I think that's just where it comes from, and then obviously physicality, which we were talking about, So yeah, I think that's just like, that's her depth, as much as she's kind and, and all that fire and that pain comes from somewhere. So yeah.
And I hope you both have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You too.
Lightning round. How you doing?
Sorry.
Hi, I'm Evan. My question was for both of your characters. What do you think would be a Halloween tradition that both of them would specifically
That's a good question.
do?
Murder. Lightning round. Murder.
Done. Love that. Oh gosh. Yikes. I can't lightning round. Saving? Yeah, well, yes. I mean, she probably would be. Claire would just be trying to figure out what everyone else thinks was some sort of weird conspiracy, but she's figuring out the truth and realizing that Lady D all along, these children that were missing, it was her. So she would just be trying to figure that out and then try to bust it and then get rid of her as best she could. But we'll see what kind of battle. It's a working day.
It's just, it could be a Halloween, it could be April 22nd. It's just,
It's another day.
Never turns off.
Thank you. What's that? She could if he wasn't too busy going to Europe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Hello.
My name is Colin, and my favorite dinosaur is a Basilosaurus. It's an underwater dinosaur. It's underwater, and it's a carnivorous one. It's just they're huge, and I just like the fact that he's in his own world.
Ooh.
I can do 2 lightning round questions real quick. It's one word answers from each of you. Were you ever prepared for the legions of stupid man things that would fall at the feet of Lady D?
No.
I noticed yesterday you had the heart key necklace. Today you've actually got Claire's feather necklace on. Is there a themed necklace for Sunday, or do I have to come back and find that out?
Leave it with a mystery.
Oh, that's what I'm
Leave them
talking
wanting
about.
more.
That's what I'm talking about.
Don't give it all away. Also, the answer's no, right?
Conferences.
I don't think I have another one.
Quick, somebody get her a
I
necklace.
will try, but I'll try. Wait, but I have one quick question for you. How did it go yesterday?
I mixed up my flights. I fly out on a red-eye Sunday, not Friday.
Oh, God. Well, thank God. You still got time.
Yeah, no, I got time to relax and decompress.
By the way, he was in my class, and he just booked a job.
Oh, congratulations. All right, no pressure, but last
And
question.
Last one.
It's Jessica, and my favorite dinosaur is the Parasaurolophus.
What is this one?
It's in the second Jurassic Park, the Pompadour, big one with the big crest on its head.
Oh.
It's one of them that they capture.
And I love that
With
you...
these smart dinosaurs. I'm not smart. I don't know what these dinosaurs are. I'm going to have to look at, what is it called again? Say it again.
Parasaurolophus?
Parasaurolophus?
Parasaurolophus.
Parasaurolophus? It sounds like a disease. I love it.
This question is for Stephanie. I know that...
That's rude. You're dressed as my character.
I
just had to say it.
I didn't cut the
Listen.
line just so we could get to you.
Are you coming to my table later to make up for this?
It is in relation to you. I'll just
Ooh.
because we know that the table flipping was on your bucket list for doing motion capture and everything. Have you done
That's me.
on your bucket list?
Performance-wise?
Yeah, performance-wise.
I've said the F-bomb so many times now, so that's good. And oh my gosh. I did a bunch of stuff that was for Tomb Raider that felt very real to me. I don't know on the spot. I would say...
Do you want some of mine and then you can glom on?
I mean, I want to throw a table. Okay. I've never flipped a table. Why haven't I flipped a table?
I don't know. I feel like Claire could.
I mean,
She'd probably flip it and then dive behind it for cover. That could be cool.
Oh my God. I feel like she would flip it and then in midair, kick it. You know what I mean? At something.
Oh, yeah. And then back them all up and then block the doorway
block the
from them coming
doorway,
in.
yeah.
Kick it in, yeah.
Yeah. So I think I need to flip a
That
table.
works.
Thank you.
Tables.
I'm
you
gonna
so
think about
much.
this
I know.
for my next time. Next time I'd be like, can I please incorporate a
Okay, do you want to know some
table
more of mine?
flip? What's
You
yours?
don't because you're sweating. You're like, oh my God, we need
Yeah.
to go.
I don't even know who's next, and they're just gonna come barging on.
Yeah.
on
Oh, they
stage.
are.
They're there right now. No.
They better have a dinosaur planned.
Like, you're just waiting for whoever is next to come on stage to ask them who their favorite dinosaur is. Okay, that's.
Sorry.
We'll actually take over the panels
Okay,
from
well,
here.
all right, let's see you guys
host them.
later.
Yeah. You want to go run our tables?
I'll go run your tables.
Perfect.
I'm just gonna sign everything, big boob lady.
Oh, good. That's what I do. Yeah.
Love ankle dinosaur.
Sore ankle dinosaur.
Well, that is our time today. Thank you, Richmond, for hanging out with us. And you guys are going back to your table now?
We are.
I'm going to take a break for lunch,
take a
but
lunch
I will
break?
be back.
All right, thank you guys very much. Please give it up one more time for Stephanie and Maggie.
Thank you. Thank y'all.